Fiona. I'm an artist and illustrator. This is my channel. If you've not been here before, this is a space for me to share sketchbooks, art processes, things like that. And today's video I'm really excited about. I've got another sketchbook tour, but it's a very special one today. If you already saw my Japanese art supplies haul video a few videos back, you know that I was very lucky to be able to go to Japan for 3 weeks earlier this year. And today we have the sketchbook that I kept during that trip. I've wanted to go to Japan for my whole life, and it's meant absolutely everything to me that I've gotten to go. And it really was absolutely everything I dreamed it to be and built it up in my head to be. I was walking around looking at everything and just desperate to take in every little detail and not forget a single thing. And I really think travel sketchbooking is the perfect way to do that, to really drink everything in and savor every single little detail. So without further ado, let's crack this open and see everything I did in Japan. Right, so first I'll talk about what the sketchbook is. This is a handbook, what was it? I want to say it was a travel journal, maybe handbook travel journal or handbook travel sketchbook. It was something like that, maybe just journal, I don't know. And I hadn't used one of these before. Honestly, I was drawn to the colour of it, like that's such a lovely rich green, but the paper was nice, so yeah, I recommend these. It was perfect for my trip. It was, the paper is quite sort of hardy, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the kind of paper that would like buckle easily if you were erasing a lot. It seems to take different media fine. And it also has like a little pocket at the back, which is cool for like collecting souvenirs. And the elastic band situation is good as well for stopping it from flopping open in your backpack. So yeah, I was happy to use this. I'll probably try them again. Right, okay. So, okay, I'll start there. This is what I do. This is what I do at the start of every sketchbook. Just a way to test out the paper, basically, see how all my different pens are going to react. And this was also me planning out what palette of pens I wanted to take with me to go traveling with, because obviously I couldn't take my full, you know, Copic marker collection, and I wanted this sketchbook to be a limited palette. So that was me deciding right there. These are the colours that I took. Okay, so I did this on the plane. This is my packing list. Not exhaustive, but this is a little doodle of everything I took with me. We've got like certain clothes, like this sketchbook, 5 different books, that kind of thing. This was my, yeah, I also like to sort of scrapbook in things like this. Like, it isn't all going to be drawing. A lot of it is like little receipts and tickets and stuff like that. I think that's a nice way to add a bit of texture. So this was my boarding pass, London to Tokyo, and this was the flyer that came with the Pasmo cards that we got. So if you've not been to Japan, you can get, as a tourist, you can get a little, it's like a little credit card size thing called a Pasmo card, and that's basically your travel card for like the underground, the Tokyo subway. You top it up with 5,000 yen or however much, and then you just sort of tap your way onto trains with that, and it's really convenient. But yeah, that was the little flyer that came with that. Okay, on our very first day, so we arrived at, so actually it says on here, we flew at about 9 AM from London, and then we arrived, we flew for 14 hours, and then we arrived in Tokyo at 7 AM. So as you can imagine, that was extremely disorienting. We got off the plane 7 AM local time, and to us it felt like night. But we had like a full day to get through because we couldn't get into our Airbnb until 4 PM. So we were just sort of completely out of it. We'd been awake for 30 hours. So we went to 7-Eleven and got these, what are these called? Someone can let me know, but if you've been to Japan, you'll know what I mean. There are these little rice flour fish-shaped pastries. They don't taste of fish, they're really sweet, they've got custard in. So we sat in the park, Yoyogi Park, out with our minds on sleep deprivation, eating these little fish pastries, and it was the most surreal experience. But we got through that first day, we got a night's sleep in us, and then we were able to sort of really start looking at things properly. Okay, so this was a street sketch of, I think this was somewhere in Harajuku kind of area, and I mean, I live in Edinburgh, so going to Japan, the architecture is just wildly different. It was so, I don't know, it was chaotic, but in a really beautiful and interesting way. All these sort of like houses and buildings all crowded in together, and telephone wires, and it was just so fun to draw. We also went to, this was a flyer from the Starbucks roastery in Tokyo, which I mean, me and Andy were kind of like, I mean, we're not coffee snobs, but we like, you know, nice artisanal coffee kind of thing. So it seems a bit out of character for us to go all the way to Tokyo and then go to a Starbucks. But this was really special. So this is the Starbucks roastery, and it is massive. It's like a Willy Wonka factory in there. It's loads of floors. You see all the different stages of them roasting the beans. It was actually really fascinating. So if you're a coffee nerd, I definitely recommend going to the Starbucks roastery. And we also went to the Bonsai Museum. This was also really, really magical. It was a little ways out of the city. It took us about an hour to get there on the train, but it was so beautiful and calm and lovely. And there was a little koi pond and these really classic sort of redwood Japanese bridges and the lanterns, and bonsais were incredible. Some of them were many, many hundreds of years old, and the care of them had been handed down from generation to generation. Like the guy who showed us around, he must have been in his 80s and he'd done it his whole life, and his dad had done it and his granddad had done it. It was just really, really beautiful. I definitely recommend the Bonsai Museum. Oh yeah, that was the little flyer from the Bonsai Museum. Okay, I did a lot of shopping. It's gotta be done, you go to Japan, everything's just so interesting. I bought a lot of stuff. You'll have seen from, if you watched my Japan stationery and art supplies haul video, I went to Tokyo Hands, got plenty of Copic markers. They are so cheap there, oh my gosh. I'm used to Copic markers being like £8 or £10. They were about £2 there, so I stocked up. I grabbed a lot of fountain pen inks as well, because I'm really into fountain pens, washi tape. And Uniqlo as well. So I wasn't expecting this, but I felt like such an absolute scruff in Tokyo. Japanese girls dress so well. Like I barely saw anyone in jeans while I was walking around with like backpack ripped jeans, so I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to step up my game. So I kind of bought like a new wardrobe while we were there. But anyway, yeah, that's my little Uniqlo haul. Oh my gosh, okay, so the mini pig cafe was so fun. This was in Harajuku as well, and the pigs were so... Honestly, I was surprised by how kind of dog-like they were, if that's not a strange thing to say. They were so playful and curious and affectionate. Like they were like, all you'd have to do was sit down with a blanket on your lap and they'd just like pile onto your lap and just fall asleep, and they were so cute. So yeah, I definitely recommend the mini pig cafe. That was so fun. And okay, this is the stuff that like we ate for the first day. Oh my gosh, the sushi it's amazing, and it is ruined British sushi for me, because not only is it amazing, it's a fraction of the price. In the UK, sushi is seen as this kind of like premium fancy meal, and it's really easy for two people going for sushi to spend like £70 or £80 like easily. But in Japan, our first day we sat down at this sushi place and we were like, okay, you know, it's our first day, let's go ham, we'll be more frugal on the other days. And we absolutely filled ourselves with sushi. And then when the bill came, we were like trying to figure out what we'd done wrong, because we were trying to translate it from yen into pounds. We were like, how was all of that like £8 a head? But yeah, sushi is just seen as this regular like lunchtime thing there, so we ate so much sushi while we were there. I also really liked the souffle pancakes that you can get as well. They're like these really like thick spongy pancakes. They're a very Japanese thing, so nice. And I also just really loved how so many things were just cute. Like the buses, I mean this was just kind of one brand of buses, and it just had these little cartoon Shiba Inus all over it. Like it was unnecessary but so cute, and I could say that about many, many different things in Japan. Whatever could be cute was made cute, and I really enjoyed that. We've got this is a little receipt from Tokyo Disney Sea. We did go to Disney Sea, it was wonderful. I didn't do any drawing there, it kind of just wasn't that kind of day, but that's a little memory of that. And this is from the Meiji Shrine. There's a photo from the Meiji Shrine as well, which was incredible, very, very grand. I felt very I don't know, awed by it, you know, like it was such a quiet, majestic place. And that was in Harajuku as well. It's really near the Harajuku train stop, so you can just pop out and go there quite easily. The graphic design in Japan is on another level. Like the packaging, it just goes so hard. I had to cut out chunks of it and stick it in. Okay, every time I encounter a cool Japan thing that I've only heard about from anime or movies, it feels like meeting a celebrity. These dango were like that. I was like, ah, it's the emoji. And they're really tasty as well. They're these little kind of rice flour sweet dumplings on a stick, and they're lovely. I also found out that the little star sweets that the Soot Sprites eat in Spirited Away are a real thing, and they're also lovely. I also really loved that when you ride around on the subway, each train station has its own little jingle theme song that plays as you arrive, so you know where you are when you're on the train, if you know, learn to recognise your train stops song. It was just lovely. We also went to the Hedgehog Cafe in Harajuku, which was really lovely as well. The hedgehogs weren't really up for sort of being petted or handled, which is totally fine, so we just, you know, had our drinks and admired them, and they were so sweet as well. So Andy he just pulled this out of the bag, but Andy is apparently very, very good at claw games. We absolutely rinsed the place. I was going around being like, win me that one, and Andy was absolutely like a boss at it. So we got so many claw game prizes, and that was so fun as well. I'd heard that Akihabara is kind of the place to go for like gacha games and that kind of like claw games and stuff, but we found it to be it was very, very crowded, and we preferred the kind of gaming places in Ikebukuro, so that's my hot tip, definitely go to Ikebukuro. And there's also the Pokemon Center in the big mall in Ikebukuro, the Sunshine City Mall, which was really fun as well, and this was less crowded than the one in Shibuya. Okay, so this was just like the back of 2 pages of like markers that had gone through, so I just stuck in a bunch of stuff. I got obsessed with these sweets, these little Haichu grape candies. I ate so many of them. Shinjuku Botanic Gardens, this was wonderful as well. It's kind of a touristy spot, but it's so big that it doesn't feel crowded, and because we went in late April, it was full on cherry blossoms, so we really got the full experience. We were able to sort of have the, I think it's called Hanami picnic, you know, the cherry blossom viewing traditional thing, and that was really special, so I definitely loved the Botanic Gardens. The cat cafes. The cat cafes are on another level. So this was, Cat Cafe Mocha is a chain, so they had cat cafes all across Tokyo, and I think they had some in Kyoto as well. This is the one we went to the Shinjuku one, and the cats were so sweet. You were able to buy these little frozen chicken soup lollies for 500 yen, so you could, you know, feed the cats, and it was so lovely, really relaxing. This was a place called Coffee Mameya, which is kind of, it's a really unassuming place from the outside. It's one of those like, if you know, you know kinds of places. We only found out about it because we did a bunch of research on sort of like artisanal coffee of Tokyo before we went. But you get this really personalised coffee experience where they ask you what kind of thing you're looking for, like what kinds of like tasting notes and like level of roast that you like, and they get you to like smell different beans, and then they'll make you sort of the perfect tailored cup. And it was a little bit pricey, but it was a really special experience, and I'm really glad that we went. This was the sort of little tag from a bag of coffee beans that we brought back. Oh, 7-Eleven food is just, I miss it so much. We had so many just picnics in Yoyogi Park of just a whole of random stuff we picked up from 7-Eleven, and everything was amazing. I really liked these little like seaweed rice balls that would have like tuna or pickled plum or all different fillings, and melon pan bread as well, which isn't necessarily melon flavoured, although it can be. It's called melon pan because it's shaped like melon, and it's just this really sweet, lovely bread. Okay, Kawagoe. So this was our first little day trip that we did. This was about an hour north of where we were staying. So we stayed in Ebisu, and this was about an hour north of that on the train. And it's kind of like a little historical town. It's got this historical town centre, and because we went near the start of Golden Week, they had these interesting fish paper and fabric streamers up. And so we walked around some different temples and shrines, and we saw quite a lot of people wearing historical dress, kimonos and yukata there, which was really lovely to see as well. I just wanted to drink in every little detail, so I crammed everything I saw onto this one page. The this was fun as well. So this isn't really a very specifically Japanese thing, going to an aquarium. I know lots of places have aquariums, but I just love aquariums. If I see one, I will be going to it whenever I visit any city. So this is the Sunshine Aquarium. This was in Ikebukuro. It's actually in the top floor of a shopping mall, which is kind of a surreal experience. You're on like the top of a skyscraper and there's like penguins swimming around, but it was really fun. So these are some of the little fish that we saw. I discovered these little eel creatures. They actually sold a washi tape of these creatures in the gift shop, but I think they're called garden eels, and they're just like these tiny little worms that just stick their heads up out of the seabed and just sort of wave around, and they were really cute, so they made it into the sketchbook. Oh, this was another coffee place. This was Sarutahiko Coffee. I think it's a chain, but we went to the Ebisu one because it was near where we were staying. The coffee was really good there, and we met a massive dog sitting outside. It was absolutely huge, and that made the sketchbook. That was my core memory of this place. Here's another drawing from Yoyogi Park. We spent a lot of time there. It really was full sakura season, so I wanted to make sure I caught all of that. And this was the Shiba Cafe in Harajuku. As you can see, we went to a lot of animal cafes. I love Shibas so much. I know they're a very they're a very intelligent, very like sort of high energy dog. So I couldn't have one myself, I don't think, but they were so lovely to just meet and hang out with, and they were really friendly and affectionate as well. I liked that this cafe is only open for a few hours a day, and it's kind of on the dog's terms. They don't make the dogs do anything, but they do come over and have a look at you and hang out with you. And it was really sweet. It was very traditional Japanese style in there. They had the sliding doors and the tatami and everything. But yeah, that was lovely. These are some various souvenir flyers from Kamakura. This was the next day trip that we did. Kamakura is famous for having one of the biggest and oldest Buddha statues in Japan. This doesn't really capture it, it's absolutely colossal. A human here would maybe be like the size of a grain of rice in comparison to how big this was. So that was really imposing and atmospheric and special. And it's also a beach town as well, so we went and had a little 7-Eleven picnic on the beach, and I got mugged by a seagull. I had my little onigiri rice bowl in my hands and I got dive bombed and the whole thing was ripped out of my hand. So yeah, seagulls are equally rude in Japan, I'm afraid. Sorry to report that. But yeah, I really like Kamakura, it was lovely. The Ghibli store, or is it Ghibli? I never know. I think Ghibli. I think in pronouncing kanji or katakana it's Ghibli, so we should probably say Ghibli. But I hear so many people say Ghibli. I don't know. Ghibli. We went to the Ghibli store, and this is a little haul I brought back from there. I'll show you. Hang on. I got this little mug, which was, I'm just holding these because these were water in the mug, which is like the one from Kiki's delivery service. And I also got some washi tape, and I got some Totoro chopsticks as well. I've been using those constantly since we got back. And this was the little stamp that they had there as well. So it's a very kind of uniquely Japanese thing. I'm saying unique, if anywhere else does this, let me know. But all over Japan, all different like train stations, tourist attractions, things like that, there are these little stamps that you can collect, and people go around with notebooks all around Japan filling them up with different stamps of all the places they've been. So this is the Ghibli store one. Oh, and yeah, here was another one. So this is from Meiji-Ro Gardens, which was a botanic gardens that we went to. A little bit smaller than the big Shinjuku one, but this was lovely as well. And oh my gosh, yeah, the conveyor belt sushi blew my mind. It changed everything for me. I miss it so much. So you'd be sitting at your you kind of sit all in a row along a long bench, and there is a conveyor belt going in front of you with the sushi, and there's a little sort of iPad tablet type thing inset into your table where you press and order what you want and confirm, and then it just whizzes along on the conveyor belt and stops in front of you. You can pick your little dish and that's your sushi, and I wish we had that in the UK. We kind of do with Yo Sushi, but it's not really the same. But yeah, I miss the conveyor belt sushi restaurants so much. They were so good. Oh, this was somewhere that I really wanted to go. This was on my wish list. So this is Godokuji Temple, which is the Lucky Cat Temple. It was, if I'm remembering correctly, the temple was set up to on a cat which had saved someone from an earthquake by kind of alerting them that something was wrong and leading them away. And people go there to remember their cats that have passed, or contribute by bringing along their own little lucky cat statues. And this has been going on for many, many years, so there are probably several thousand of these little lucky cat statues and rows and rows and rows all over the temple. It's very unique. It's kind of indescribable. But yeah, that was really interesting. I've never been anywhere like that before. Sakaido. Okay, so this is the big art supply store in Shinjuku. It's many floors, I think it's 5 or 6 floors. And I was in there hours. This was on my absolute must-do wish list, visiting Sakaido. This is a little bit of packaging that I ripped off of the bag. I did get a lot of stuff there. I was especially excited by these deleter screens. If you watch my Japan art supplies haul video, you'll see me go into all the stuff I picked up there in detail. But I think I'm going to make a YouTube video soon of using these deleter screens, experimenting on them a little bit. So what they are is they're sort of a textured background that manga artists would traditionally use to create backgrounds, and it's just like sort of one big sticker where you cut out chunks of it and use it, and it'll be easier if you Google it. You'll see what I mean. And this place we went to, I wish I'd written down the name of the restaurant, but we had some kitsune udon, and this noodle place we went to was one of those, it was kind of like Subway in that you kind of go along with your tray and you ask for different things that you want, like, oh, you know, on Subway it's like this bread, this cheese, what have you. It was like that, but it was noodles and different toppings, and it was all in Japanese, so I was really proud of myself that I ordered completely in Japanese and didn't manage to end up with something insane, so that was a fun little memory. The Tokyo National Museum, this was in Ueno, I think. I was particularly enchanted with the clay Paleolithic figures. Going around here looking at all of these ancient Paleolithic figures made me feel like, I feel like the people who developed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom must have done this to get inspiration, because the little faces are so similar to the Korok faces. I wonder if they did that, because that was the very first thing I thought when I saw them. And this one reminds me of Clay Doll, you know, the Pokemon. Like, I feel like they maybe saw this, you know? I think they maybe went to the museum for inspiration. And also in the museum, there was a sort of interactive station where you could make your own ukiyo-e woodblock print. So you got a plain sheet of paper, and then there were stamps of all different colours, and you had sort of went along the stations and stamped your paper with all the different colours, and it would build up this print, and you could take it home with you, so that was fun. And I drew this because, you know, I'm just going to read this out. I took a photo of this jade bead because it reminded me of the Makatama in Phoenix Wright. So there you go. Medel Deli. So we went here for breakfast at least 4 or 5 times. They were near where we were in Ebisu, and they had these really nice acai bowls and these blue seaweed smoothies. Okay, and I've also written today's claw game winnings. Okay, and next we got the Shinkansen bullet train to Kyoto. So we used Kyoto as a base for lots of different day trips. We went to, first place we went to was Arashiyama. Here's the stamp from the station. And Arashiyama is famous for having the bamboo forest walkthrough that you've seen on Instagram probably. It was very, very busy. I'm glad we went, but we kind of walked through it quickly and dodged out of the way of everyone's selfie sticks. And it's also famous for where there's a mountain where there's all these wild monkeys living on that are super used to people, so you can kind of walk amongst them and they're not bothered by you at all. That was really fun. Yeah, Arashiyama Monkey Park. Here's the stamp from that as well. I really got into the stamp collecting. We've got some doodles from the Kyoto Botanical Gardens. It was pretty rainy that day, so I didn't get the chance to sit down and do a full drawing. This was just sort of quick. And we also took a day trip to Osaka from Kyoto. I think it was about an hour on the train, so, you know, very doable. And coming from the calmness of Kyoto, Osaka was like being hit in the face by everything at once. It was very, very overstimulating, but in the absolute best way. It felt crazy. I can't describe it, but every street we walked down there was so much going on, neon lights everywhere, big animatronic like crabs on the wall advertising a restaurant, and yeah, it was amazing. And the food was some of the best food I've eaten in my life. So I discovered okonomiyaki while we were there, which is kind of like a fried it's like a pancake made of noodles and cabbage and lots of different ingredients, usually fish, and I don't know what black magic they put in it, but it was absolutely incredible. I could have eaten 6 of them. And we also tried kushikatsu as well, which are these little fried fish and vegetable on sticks. They were really tasty. The Glyco Man, of course, went to go see him. It's got to be done. And I also really enjoyed Nambayasaka Shrine, which has a massive lion's head. So this was huge. This was colossal, and the inside of the mouth would be used as a stage for traditional performances. I definitely recommend going to see this Nambayasaka Shrine if you go to Osaka. It's really incredible in real life. This was back in Kyoto, a temple, a temple or a shrine. Oh, I don't know the difference. I think shrine is Shinto and temple is Buddhist. Yeah, so this will have been a shrine. Aikando. Well, when we were in Kyoto, there was lots of news coming out about how Kyoto was becoming one of the really worst over-touristed places in Japan. I saw pictures and videos of people going to some of the main tourist spots in Kyoto and just not being able to move for bodies, you know what I mean? There was just a massive crush of people trying to get into all of the main temples of Kyoto. So we actually didn't even bother trying to go to Fushimi-inari or any of the major shrines or streets. So we went to some of the lesser known ones, and I think because I don't know, I feel like people go to these towns and they Google top 5 things to see in Kyoto and then they just do them. So when you go to places that are a little bit further down the list, they are just dead, they are just empty. Half the day we had the place to ourselves, so I would recommend doing that. I would recommend going off the beaten track and seeing some of the less Instagram famous things, because they're just as beautiful, they just don't happen to be famous. So Aikando was really special. It's sort of banked up a mountain. You've got to walk around to see all the different things, but the plants are beautiful as well. Oh sorry, so it was a temple, not a shrine. I will get that right at some point. And Nanzenji temple as well. That is quite a famous one, to be fair. There were a few more people there. This was huge. I've not really captured the scale of this. This was massive and imposing, incredibly beautiful. I'm interested to look at why this was a thing, but we saw lots of little stones that seemed to be unassuming. They weren't sculptures in any way, but they had these little red aprons tied onto them. I thought that was really lovely. I think I should look at why they did that, because that was really special. I enjoyed that. And in Kyoto we saw plenty of cranes. I think they are just the local bird. There's loads of them just living there, and they seem not too skittish. You know, they're kind of wandering around amongst people. But it just felt so quintessentially Japanese that they definitely made it into the sketchbook. And next we have Nara. Nara, I definitely recommend doing Nara. So this is another day trip we did from Kyoto. It wasn't long to get there. I want to say it was like 30 minutes to an hour maybe. So it's a much smaller city and very historical as well. Lots of different temples and shrines to see there. But what's famous about Nara is the deer. So deer are very much treated as protected, sacred animals in Nara. They are not shy at all. They just live amongst the people. They walk around in the city. No one would dare bother them or hurt them. So they're so friendly and unafraid of people. And they are almost a bit too much confidence, because they will, if they see you holding any food, they will grab at your jeans and yank you around and follow you. But you can buy these little pancake things. They look a little bit like the you know, like stroopwafels you can get in Amsterdam? They look like that, but they weren't sweet, obviously, they were for deer. And you could buy them for a few hundred-yen and feed the deer, and it was just such a special experience. The deer have learned to bow at people for attention, which was so sweet. If you bow at them, they'll bow back at you and then mug you for your food. But it was, yeah, really beautiful. It was incredibly humid this day. It was a little bit cloudy and overcast, which I think made the Nara temple that we went to look even more special, because it was a little bit gloomy, but it was a very forested temple covered in moss and stuff like that, so it really added to the atmosphere. This place, Nana's Green Tea, I think this might be a chain, but this is the one we went to in Kyoto. Andy got really obsessed with this meal that they did there, which was called algae ramen. It was a cold algae ramen. And by algae I mean literal what you would get in a pond, but Andy loved it. He ate this every day. I couldn't bring myself to try it. I'm sure it is lovely, but the whole algae thing I couldn't get past. And we had plenty of matcha as well. Gotta be done in Kyoto. Our last day in Kyoto, it rained all day, so we hid in an arcade. I think we were kind of burned out, like travel burned out by this point. We were kind of tired, we didn't really go anywhere. So we just went into this mall and we went into the arcade and we like played games all day. So it wasn't, you know, we didn't do massive touristy things every single day, but days like this were some of the most fun days. Someone can maybe let me know what this is called, but this taiko drumming game that they have in Japan was so much fun. I played for hours. I spent far too much money on it. It was really fun. I had no idea what was going on because it was all in Japanese, but it was great. I got really into it. So yeah, definitely spend some time in the arcades because they are on another level than the stuff you get in the West. So much fun. And then from Kyoto we made it back to Tokyo because that's where we would be flying from. And I had realised that we'd been in Japan this whole time and I still hadn't tried a proper Japanese parfait yet. So we crammed that in the last day, and I also grabbed a copy of Nana, which I've never read before, to read on the plane. And then we went to the Imperial Palace Gardens. I collected another stamp but didn't get the chance to draw. Got some blank pages, and then yeah, that was it. So here is the boarding pass for the way back and a little doodle of our journey home. This was the only glimpse we got of Fuji the whole time we were there. We did manage to see it through the plane window, and it was very majestic. I'm just going to read out what I've written on this last page. I feel like this trip was a gift from adult me to past 12-year-old me drawing manga girls in her room. Japanese media was a huge part of why I wanted to be an illustrator in the first place, so this felt like coming full circle, and I'm so freshly inspired. It's meant everything. And I think all we have after that is I just swatched all of the different washi tapes I got on one page. As you can see, it was a good haul. I picked one up in basically all of the different places we went. But yeah, that's it. I almost used up the whole sketchbook. There's just a few pages at the back and it's really fat and crinkly. This has been one of the most magical experiences of my life, and this sketchbook especially I think I'm always going to treasure because it just contains so many memories. And the plan is to eventually, I'm going to make a travel zine to take to fairs and sell on Etsy and things like that. So I'm working on that right now. I'm scanning all the pages and editing them in so I can put together a little travel sketchbook zine. That won't be ready for a little while. It takes a while to put it together. I definitely want to have it ready before I go to Thought Bubble in November. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There will be a little zine available. You might have noticed as I was going through, a few pages were taped together. That's because I want to save some things for the zine, because I don't know, I don't want people who pay for it to feel shortchanged by this video being free, do you know what I mean? And I think I'm going to add in, I think I'm going to go back through my photos and add in some new drawings as well to really like round out and describe everything we did. Thanks so much for coming along and looking through this with me. It's been really nice to comb through all the memories, and I hope you've enjoyed looking at it as well. I'm aware this has been a long video, so thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, I shall see you soon for another video. Thanks, bye!